Yo, what's up guys? This is Captain Daniel. And today's video, I'm gonna talk about what is the best way to date beautiful women in 2024. So this comes from a call I just did with a possible client, and I hope he's watching this because this video is for you. I do hope we could work together in the future, but I think the biggest thing is I wanted to answer kind of his questions because we did have a call and I was able to fully answer his questions. And he was we were on this call where why I'm talking about the best way to date women in 2024 is because he wanted to meet women in a very specific way. Means that he wanted to approach them directly, like cold approach, right? He felt like that, made him feel, really good. He made him feel more confident. And, like I actually acknowledge him and I respect him for that because nowadays, what's the modern way of dating in 2024? I mean, we all know the answer, right? Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all these dating apps, Raya, whatever you use, and now even Instagram, right? And usually what my coaching program entails is mostly online dating. Why? And I'm gonna actually break it down. So to answer the question I said, what is the best way to date women in 2024, the answer is actually based on your needs. So I have a couple clients I'm working with, and most of my clients I teach them online dating and Instagram. Why? So let's first get the number one thing out of the way though. In both ways of dating, right? Actually, there's a lot of ways of dating in modern dating. All of them, you need Instagram. Like I kept telling you guys in all these past videos, you do need to upgrade your Instagram because it will supplement any kind of dating method you use. So if you use online dating, you're gonna probably get our Instagram. If you cold approach, where you approach a girl directly on the street or at a bar or whatever, you're gonna probably use Instagram to exchange info, right? Instagram is a way to show her you, right? The best version of you, right? Because back in the day, we would only have one way of meeting women. That's through directly meeting them or maybe through friends, but we always exchange contact info. And when we exchange contact info, you have to use text messages and you have to kind of like make her remember how you guys met first for her to actually reply back and want to talk to you again. But now with Instagram, you could give her a positive reinforcement of who you are and also find out things about you. Because if she really is interested in you, she'll look through your Instagram to figure out kind of like who you are, what do you do with that without you even really telling her, right? So that's the first thing. No matter what, through any of these methods, the best way, you do need Instagram to supplement this best way. So now let's go back to what is the best way. I said it's based on your needs and wants. So my client is actually in college. And for any guys who do watch, I was surprised that people watch my YouTube who are in college. So I do think college is the perfect age to actually learn cold approach or learn how to approach women in person. Why? Because I do think there is a certain confidence and certain hardship when you directly go up to a girl, but not just like when she gives you a positive reinforcement, like, oh, I like you back, or what's your name, and she has your conversation, but the rejection. I do think that rejection of you approaching a girl and your fear of failure, you have that fear of failure, but you still go approach the girl and you actually talk to her, right? And like I said, most of the time when I first started this dating thing, I didn't get 100% results. I didn't, every girl I approached didn't like me back, right? So that's the number one thing that was hard about approaching girls back in the day or dating was we had to put ourselves out there. And sometimes it really sucks. There's certain countries in this world where the girls don't even acknowledge you exist. And when I first took my first training program where the coach actually took us to a bar, I did it without alcohol. I remember the first girls I approached, they literally looked at me and straight up ignored me. Didn't even look my way, right? And just all these things, right? I just remember like, but despite all the bad approaches where I approach a girl and they reject me, there's also a lot of good. There's so much reward when you actually approach a girl and she likes you and you have this amazing time and this amazing conversation. And there's something also about just like, I don't know. And let me explain to you why you feel so good after you approach a girl in person and she actually like talks back to you and interested. Is because you put yourself out there and despite all the fears, despite all the possible rejection, you still did it. And there's so much reward that comes from knowing like kind of like what you put on the line to go approach her. But that's what when you get rejected, it really sucks, right? So this client wanted to get better at his cold approach game or approaching girls in person. And I also think there's a lot of benefits to that too, where you actually can see the girl and she doesn't catfish you. It's not pictures. You actually see her energy, you see her vibe, you see her kind of whole self, and you sometimes usually it's weird, right? Because nowadays a lot of my clients who meet girls online, they put the girls online more on a pedestal. When they meet them in person, they get downgraded a little bit, and that happens a lot. But there's more fulfillment when you see a very beautiful girl in person and you go directly approach her. There's something about it. Even if you get rejected, there's this feeling of like, you know what, I still did it. Not a lot of men do it. And I had this one friend who used to be my wingman. He would do the craziest approaches, like approaches where the daughter with his mom, and he'll be socially etiquette, right? He would still do it properly. He wouldn't just like go directly and say, "Hey, your daughter's hot," and he would just go to a restaurant with a bunch of people. And nowadays, that's considered taboo, right? Don't be disrespectful. Fit in with the crowd. Don't do it. But there's still something awesome about a guy approaching five group of girls eating dinner and getting one of the girls' number, right? There's something cool about it because it's a very manly thing to do. Because back in the day, that's all we had. So I do think in terms, if you're in college and you do have time to invest where you could kind of spend an hour a day, I do think you should go talk to women out on the street and actually make a conscious effort. And you're like, what? Danny, you're telling me to go out on the street and make a conscious effort to talk to strangers? Yes. Like, that's how we did it, old school way. It's not like you just say, I'm going to do it part of my life. Because unless you make it repetitious and you go out into the field, out there and actually approach girls consistently, you're not going to make this a skill. And you're going to have, we call this old term approach anxiety. You're always going to be scared to approach girls. So I do think at an early age, from like 20s to maybe late 20s, you should create some kind of foundation. There's something about also cold approaching a girl and making her from neutral to actually liking you, right? She had no interest in you and you actually like her. It's kind of like in sales, right? When a client is totally neutral, doesn't have any positive or negative reviews about you, but you all of a sudden make him like you and want to work with you. That's like sales, right? In games, the same way. If you could do that, there's so much more fulfillment from making a girl like you straight off the bat when it was cold, right? So I do think there's also foundational social skills that come with cold approach. So if you have no social skills at all, I do think cold approach is in a way, necessity, right? Because it helps you understand the foundational social skills, how to interact with women, how a woman feels, how her body language is, and just understand it, right? But on the other hand, this is the other way, right? Online dating. So online dating is probably the biggest thing that most people are using to meet girls, right? Why? Here's a lot of pros of it. The pros is, right? Well, number one is you don't feel the pain of rejection, right? If you're actually getting decent results from these online dating apps, right? Like you don't get rejected. You just swipe right, swipe right. You don't see the people who swipe left. So it's very like efficient, and also it's you don't have to do anything. You just have to stay on my phone and swipe. You can be in the bathroom doing it, and yeah, it's super easy. And what the client actually said, he was getting results from that more than cold approach, right? So I do think dating, if you had no experience with women, I do think you should supplement the online dating to your cold approach. Cold approach, it could be, if you're not working with a coach, it might take months to years for you to actually get a girl through that. And this is something true to me, and also the client who had to talk with me. He hasn't officially got a result from meeting a girl in person, right? Because it's hard. It's like, I think most people lack social skills too nowadays because everyone's on social media and everything like that, and they're always on their phone. So I do think online dating is a great supplement, and if you want faster results where you meet a girl one-on-one and go on a date and learn women a little bit faster in person, because the thing about cold approach is she might not like you in the beginning because your vibe is off. But on the dating apps, you could actually put this image out there where a girl can like, and you could do it. And that's why you do, most of my clients, a lot of my guys don't have that experience, right? They want to get results fast. So if I want that fast results within I could get them dates within like a month to maybe 2 months where they go on a date. And the thing is, do they go on a date with the most beautiful woman in the world? Ideally, sometimes, but not all the time, right? They just go on a date with a girl they find attractive enough, and that sometimes is a huge win because they had zero girls in their life. So with students who have zero girls and you start working with me, just getting a date is a win. But obviously, a lot of my clients come also where they want higher quality, and I have a client who's working with me with that. He wants higher quality now. So but he still does cold approach. He still is working on it. Him, I'm mostly focusing on his Instagram, so it could supplement his game that he already has to make him date hotter girls, right? So yeah, the second method is online dating. So do I think online dating is way better than cold approach. Like I said, I do think it's based on your time. If you don't have that much time, if you have, like one of my clients is a doctor, he doesn't have a lot of time. So he just can't go out on the street, wait, text her, message her, all this stuff. And like, because when you meet a girl in cold approach, it sometimes takes a lot of time to build that traction for just her to finally even want to go out with you. But on a dating app, everyone's on there with the same intention to go on a date. So it's pretty easy to get the girl out if you do it the right way and you have the same strategies, right? You got to get your pictures good. You got to update your Instagram. You got to make everything just like look great so she gets hooked onto your pictures and want to come out, right? So that's online dating is probably the fastest and most efficient way. But I think in terms of pure high quality of women, even if you get apps like Raya where it's more selective, I do think that cold approach is a must-have because it helps you learn the social skills, right? And there's something about you learning how to make a girl who's neutral into making you like you right off the bat. On dating apps, she's already at an interest level. If she swipes right on you, she's already interested. So if you're not actually getting results on dating apps, even if you get a girl to match you, you're doing something wrong, and you probably need to work with someone to help you through that. And if you're getting zero matches on dating apps, that's where we should have a talk, and I'll give you honest feedback. Like I said, schedule a call in the link below, and I could give you the honest truth why I think you're not getting results on dating apps. And then, like, obviously, there's social settings, right? So friends introduce you, parties, and all that stuff. But even that, right, where you get introduced by, they call it social settings, where someone introduces you, I think that is the best way in terms of making it more comfortable, where you're not as scared because you're meeting through mutual friends, right? But the issue with that is it's all based on luck, right? Your friends have to want to set you up, you have to find the right girl, and also you also don't want to shit where you eat though, where if you have your group of friends and you fuck that relationship, it kind of relationship ruins the whole relationship. So I do think social circle has a lot of benefits and comfort. It's very smooth, very easy, but I do think be careful about social circle is that sometimes it takes longer to get results from it, right? You have to, and also you kind of have to get lucky too, right? So I gave you the three, right? First is, directly meeting them, call it cold approach, meeting the girls right face to face. Two is online dating. And three is like a social circle where you meet girls, through mutual friends, where you guys hang out a lot, and then you set the tone where you become romantic. But I do think back in the day that was really popular, though, social circle, like become a promoter, become friends with these girls and all that stuff. But I just think it takes too much time, and I think a lot of guys don't want to be friends with girls; they actually want to date the girls. So that's my two thoughts on that. And is there another way of modern dating? Yeah, I think last one is actually Instagram. I think Instagram is a huge plus when it comes. It's kind of like a mix between cold approach and online dating because you're actually kind of like cold DMing girls on Instagram, right? And they either respond or don't. It's kind of like cold approach, but it doesn't hurt as much because they don't see your body language. But so they're basing your attractiveness on your pictures and your vibe on Instagram. So if you could create that and cultivate that well, then girls respond back. So the Instagram game has become actually a thing where you see a lot of celebrities doing it, right? That's how they get girls. But they also, the celebrities have the celebrity status and their Instagram looks good. So I think on that note, Instagram game has actually gained some traction where you could now, and that's something I teach to only a select few because they have put in the work, they have a good cold approach game, they did get girls through online dating, and now Instagram's the next step. Because Instagram, you can't just send a bunch of cold DMs because then you're just gonna not get girls anyways. They're not gonna message you back. But Instagram has been a new way of dating where now the social media app is probably the new online dating marketplace. But I do think it's like the mix between online dating and cold approach if you do it the right way. And if you understand the steps of cold approach and the steps of online dating, you can mix them and actually do well on Instagram. On that note, are there anything else? I think I've heard of like kind of other things like there's these high-end matchmakers like matchmakers too. I don't think you should spend that much money on matchmakers unless you have the basic social skills to. Usually, the matchmakers services that I realize is they're getting paid by the restaurants and like they just get random girls and the girls get free meals. So I heard about that. So I can't, and I don't have personal experience on that. So I can't say matchmaking services are a plus. But I think the top three that I just shared with you are probably the best way. And in order, like I said, it's based on you. If you have time and if you want like you don't mind, like really like getting slower results, but it will be rewarding at the end, do cold approach first. But like, why do you have to separate it, right? So the best way, actually, here's the answer. The best way of modern dating in 2024, the best strategy is actually mix all of it. You should be good in all of it, and that's what I teach. I'm not trying to sell my program. Actually, maybe I am, but like I try to teach you all of it. I don't actually teach as much cold approach, but if the student's willing to, I'm willing to meet them in person, obviously, but I try to do mix in both. I try to add in both so you're actually good in both, and you're able to take a good advantage of both. So when you don't have time, you can use online dating and Instagram, and when you do have time, you do cold approach. Isn't that the best way to mix the best of everything and just make it your lifestyle? That's what it is. Make it your dating lifestyle. So hope that helps, guys. This is a video. I hope this really gives you the answer and actually keeps you on the right track. And if my client is watching, I hope this really helps. Figure out what really works, pick up the strategies, and just go with it and stick with it and make it good. All right, guys. Like I said, if you want to schedule a call to see which strategy is the best for you, set up there's a link below. Click on it, set up a call with me, and let's see if I can actually help you. It's been a pleasure. Captain Daniel out.